One.
Perfect.
I know, right? I'm that fucking good. No music.
What is up?
Oh, there it is. It's starting to come now.
Yep, that's what she said.
You're a sick man. Sick man.
Is it too early for that? Is it too early for that?
Is it ever too early?
But yeah, welcome everybody. I know there's going to be a few people piling in. I think, Bam, I think this is the first time that you've actually aired on Patriot News Network.
Oh, I didn't know I was on Patriot News Network.
I believe it is.
Oh.
Yes, it is.
Well,
Sweet
howdy, everybody.
lady. Hey
Sweet
there.
lady.
And Manny, did you add the YouTube as well? Or no, this isn't through my StreamYard account.
What do you mean it's not the right streamer account? No,
Not my account.
right, just a Patriot Network.
Yeah.
Hey, Toxic. Is that too loud or what?
I can barely hear it. I think I'm okay.
I can't hear nothing.
Take the cotton out your ears.
So you do hear the music.
I can hear the music now. I just had to turn my volume up.
All right. Welcome everybody. Toxic Terminator, Valley Girl. How you doing? I don't know why the
Oh,
volume.
gag me with the spoon.
Valley Girl. I don't think she means that Valley.
Oh, okay.
She means the real Grand Valley.
Like totally tubular, dude.
We are welcome everyone. We are still discussing the events that happened in Uvalde, Texas. Why does this sound too loud still? There. And seems to be a conversation that's gonna continue for some time. Hey Lisa, welcome Chicago.
Lisa Bongo.
We were talking about Chicago too. You got your own gun issues there.
Chicago has many, many,
Troy
many
is in the
issues.
house.
One of them's Lori Lightfoot.
I'm loving the shirt, Troy.
How's it going, guys?
I do
Troy,
like
you know
that
everybody,
shirt.
right?
That's
You know
awesome.
Bam, you know Shane, and a lot of folks from the Patriot News Network are in the house. Unfortunately, we're
Hang on a second.
still talking guns and the shooting that happened the other day at Uvalde, Texas. And everyone has gotten into their own little debates with their liberal friends, and this has become a politicized issue. Oh, so what is your side going to do about it? And the other side, oh, so what are you guys going to do about it? And it's there's a lot of finger pointing and a lot of I told you so's and that kind of thing going on, right? But is there a magic pill? Is there a magical answer that's gonna, we discussed this yesterday. Would any additional laws have stopped this from happening this last week?
And I don't believe there is. And it's I was talking to a couple of friends of mine. One was a Secret Service officer at one point in time, and he said it's inexcusable what happened in regards to how long it took. But he said until you are in that fatal funnel, you could criticize all you want, but until you're there, you don't know what you'll do.
Yeah, and I get it, and I'm a big fan of the police, and I will always support the police. And I hate, even though I get it, but there are a lot of comments like this. And after what happened, I mean, kind of the same thing that happened didn't we say it the other day? And is it Parkland, Florida, where the police officer waited outside just watching what was going on? He didn't. I guess he was told not to go in, or he didn't go in for whatever the reason. You remember that, Troy?
Yeah.
And
So the police protocol is to, if it's just one officer, they have to wait for somebody else so they can go in as a pair. That has been the basically the
but even
way
if that,
it's been since Columbine.
but even if that's policy, if you're a cop and you're out the door and you know this stuff is going on there, if you guys, if you're a cop, are you gonna wait? You guys specifically? Me,
Oh,
I
I
don't
would.
think I can wait. I'm just gonna get inside and try to. I mean, that's my job, right?
Yeah, and I mean honestly, when you become a sheriff's deputy or a sheriff or even a police officer, you swear an oath to defend the Constitution of the United States. And I mean, I'm not gonna make blanket excuses for the cops because, like many other conservative commentators have done, it was inexcusable.
Yeah, I mean,
Do
how
we
do you
know
can?
all the facts, all the details as of yet? No. There's a lot that's still coming out. In fact, I was reading a couple reports today where the injured police officer, who was the first person on the scene,
Hmm.
he was telling them, well, when we were about ready to go in, the firing had stopped because another person had came in as a backup, and they were going to go in, but because the firing had stopped, they were treating it as a barricaded situation, which when you do that, you're supposed to wait for backup, even more people, and then rack and stack, and go in. That's his side of it. So I think there's going to be an investigation. It's going to go on. Is it going to yield much? I don't know. They went through active shooting training in December of 21.
Yeah, in fact, the Uvalde Police Department had a photo op. They got new bulletproof armor, and they were kind of showing off. Hey, we just did some active shooter training. So we're ready for whenever something happens. And some people are taking that to social media and going, "Oh, look what they were bragging about." But where were you Wednesday? Or was it Wednesday? I think it was Wednesday. Maybe it was Tuesday. I think.
I think it was Tuesday.
Yeah. And I don't know, Troy. What say you on this matter?
Well, I mean, we can't go banning guns. And I think in regards to shootings in school, this is not a legislation issue. This is just these whoever these admins of these school districts need to make the school safer. They should have one point of entry for the school. Um, I think that every school should be equipped with metal detectors. Um, show your ID, scan your ID, fix your ID, and I think that there should be some sort of like when you come into the building where you have your ID scanned and whatnot. Then the parents or grandparents or whoever's picking up the kids, that's where they should wait until the student's brought to them. I mean, I think that this should stay out of government. We talked about this earlier today, how ARP funds 4.9 billion dollars that these school districts got across the United States.
For school security, is that right?
What's that?
For school security?
They just got 4.9 billion in general in COVID funds. You mean to tell me that they couldn't spend some of that money to make the schools safer? I mean, how long has this been an issue? Even pre-COVID, how long has it been a problem?
Weren't you telling me earlier that didn't they get some kind of money just for securing schools?
They do, yes. I don't know, like they are awarded grants. And I'll just use like our district for example. Pennsylvania awarded our district a $500,000 school violence grant. But where'd the money go? We don't have metal detectors in any of our schools. I mean, yeah, you got to get buzzed in like any other school, but not every school has a resource officer, and most resource officers only carry a 9mm Glock with them anyway. So it's not like they'd be able to handle somebody coming in with a $2,000 rifle equipped to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Troy and I looked into this a little bit today, trying to figure out. So the kid got 2 firearms and a crap load of ammunition worth right at about $5,000. We figured out roughly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Including the little accessories he bought for the guns and the ammunition. And we were wondering, so where the hell did he get this money from? So, all right, so he worked. Where did he work at? Was it Wendy's?
He worked at a minimum wage job.
He worked at Wendy's. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how long would you have to work at Wendy's and live your life and save up enough money to get $5,000 to buy whatever? To save $5,000.
Yeah, so I looked up the make and model of his firearm,
Yep.
both of them.
Yep, we did
all
too.
the accessories.
Yep.
And I actually put together a price between the firearms and the accessories. You're talking close to $7,500.
Well, me and Troy started to backtrack everything and look at the gun dealers. Somebody's
I was just looking at the guns and the accessories in my area, what it would cost me to do the exact same thing that he does or did.
Yeah, I think Troy started looking it up, and he found we're like, well, how did he afford it? So he looked up. First, he looked up financing, right? The question came up is, well, did he finance this stuff? And news to me, I didn't know you could finance firearms. I thought that was against the law for some reason. And yet Troy found it online, and so you looked that up, and then you were able to link it to
so there's a company. Yeah, there's a company in Texas called Grab a Gun, and their slogan is "Shoot now, pay later," and it says that they have approvals up to $5,000. So I had given that website to Manny. The Manny went in and looked up the arms dealers, and one of the arms dealers, like coincidence, was out Oasis Outback, which is where he purchased the guns.
Yeah.
He purchased one.
Troy actually found the exact model, at least of one of them, right? Yeah.
Right. So he purchased one gun on May 17th, and he purchased another one on May 20th. And in between that, he bought 375 rounds from the same place.
So, and how much, what was the cost of that one firearm? The first one that you looked at? Daniel, was it Daniel?
That Daniel Defense, it was like $1,800, and then the optics for it was like around $6,000. So that gun out the door with packs and everything would have been probably about $2,600.
Yeah, I'm checking my audio here. Something's wrong with my mic. All right, that sounds good. I hope it sounds better. Okay, so one of the firearms was $1,700 plus the scope itself. You said was another $500 or $600. You said.
Yeah, the scope was like $650.
So at least for one firearm, it was $2,200 right off the bat.
Right. And then that was on. He bought one on May 17th, one on May 20th. On May 18th, he bought 375 rounds of ammunition from the same place.
Holy crap. Hang on. Somebody got some loud music back there?
Yeah, I hear that too.
I hear something.
Oh, that might be my television. I'll go mute it.
All right. It's just a little loud, that's all.
You guys
All right,
were talking
so-
last night, Manny, that there needs to be there needs to be some common sense. First of all, I didn't even realize you could finance a firearm.
I didn't know either. For some reason, I thought that was like you can finance anything in the world except firearms. I don't know. It just seemed like, yeah, right. Who's going to let you finance weapons?
Yeah.
Because now everybody can go out even if they don't got money and buy $2 or $3 grand worth of stuff, and then we go start shooting them up.
And Manny, too, that Oasis Outback where he purchased the guns from, I think I sent you that. Well, I didn't send you the link, but I just sent you the clip. They were a part of that ammo smuggling case. They sold over 10,000 rounds of ammunition in one day to a Eagle Pass businessman who gave them to Mexican cartel.
Oh, you're talking
Lovely.
Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
Was that part of Fast and Furious?
Now this company is 3 miles from the school. This Oasis Outback is 3 miles
Right.
from the school. And I think today when you and I were talking, so there's two police stations within basically walking distance of the school too, correct?
Yeah, it's they're walking. You're probably talking about 15 minutes, but yeah, there's 2 police stations, and then you have the school like right kind of in the center. So they're about an equal distance away.
The timeline I think is strange because they said he arrived at the school like at 20 after 11. But the one text message that I sent you that was leaked, where he said, "This sucks for real. You know what I'm gonna do?" And then the person talking to him said, "Tell me it's 11 now." So whoever that was knew what he was gonna do. And then he said, "I can't since my grandpa hasn't left." And then the person replied, "Bro." Then he said, "Hold," but then the message is blacked out. And then he said his grandfather left. Then he said, I'm gonna tell you right now, hold on." And then he came back and said that he shot his grandmother in the head. And that was a little after 11. Looks like it was 11:21.
Yeah.
So, and what was he, a minute from the school, right? Because he lived on what, Diaz Street?
He lived right around the corner, a couple of blocks down. So yeah, very, very close.
Manny, they're hearing the background music that you have playing.
All right, turn that down. And that's Bam's dog.
Yeah, bad puppy.
So this is the
Rat
other thing
puppy.
too. That one teacher who went outside, or I'm trying to get that whole thing. She was in the school. She left her phone in the car, so she propped the door, went to her car, came back inside the school, but she left the door propped open. With what? I don't know, some device or a tool or something there. And that's how he got in, because the door was open for that reason. The door was not locked. That sound right?
Yeah, but then another report came out today that said the reason why the door was propped open is because they had activities at the school and they had parents in and out of the school in the morning, coming in and out. So they just propped the door
Okay.
open.
All right. Well, I mean, okay, so you can't really blame the one person who propped it open, because I guess there was a reason for it being propped open.
Well, it should never been propped open.
Yeah, I mean, unless somebody's guarding it, and you're going back and forth. There's a couple of people, but
Well, according to the one report, there was the resource officer was right there, and he said he saw the guy walk in with the rifle, but he said he didn't engage with him. And
that the school official came out just after that and said, no, he drove by him in the parking lot.
yeah, I don't know. There's so many conflicting things. I think that at the end of the day, they don't want you to know the truth. And earlier I was talking to Manny. You remember the Vegas shooting? Like, the more the information started to come out about that, and the more it seemed fishy, the less you started to hear about it. And I think that's what's going to happen with this.
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a bit that we still don't know about this shooter.
Yeah, I mean, this is very. The investigation is extremely young. We're not going to get any answers.
I have a feeling
right now.
that in 1 week, we will not hear another word about the Uvalde shooting.
I mean, look at what happened to Troy. He mentioned it earlier, and he showed me some video. Remember the Vegas shooting he just mentioned right now? I mean, that thing kind of disappeared. The whole investigation and everything, it just kind of vanished, and it got swept under the rug. And why? I mean, there's conspiracy theories surrounding that too. And I don't even think that's not even resolved, is it? That never got finalized. Like, okay, this is what happened. Soup to nuts. This is what happened, right?
Yeah. Well, they said that guy acted alone, but anybody with common sense knows that there was more than one shooter there. I mean, if you watch the videos and you can see the flashes. You saw it today, the one I sent you. You can see flashes in the crowd, and you can hear the gun, the shooting in the crowd. But then if you look up at the hotel, you can see gunfire coming out of the windows, like on opposite ends of the building.
Yeah.
But because the guy they found, didn't somebody allegedly shoot him or something in his room? Didn't someone shoot through the door or something? Wasn't that?
Oh yeah, one of the yes, I remember that. And then at that point, instead of being taken, that's when he just offed himself, right?
Yeah. But yeah, this whole thing is, I mean, the kid obviously knew he was going to the school that day. I think that he knew that it was, the last couple of days of school. I think that he knew that there was activities going on there that day. He picked that day, especially like I said, with that message that said from that person said it's 11 now. So in other words, like, okay, it's 11 o'clock. What are you doing? Like, this is your time. Like, obviously he didn't just randomly pick that day and randomly pick that school.
And then days before that, wasn't there a message that said 10 more days or something like that?
Yeah.
Yep. And the problem with that is you would like to think somebody in the States, if he was texting or messaging somebody here, that they would alert somebody. But who was he chatting with? Where was that person? Who was that he was chatting with?
Well, the one girl he was talking to was in Germany.
Germany, okay.
And I think their times, so it was 11 o'clock in the morning there for you guys. So I think Germany would have been like 4 in the afternoon, probably.
5, 6, 4 to 6, somewhere around there, yeah.
Yeah, it'd have been like 4-ish, 5-ish, something like that.
Yeah.
So
he was messaging with her that same day. Is that what you're saying?
He was messaging her that morning.
Oh man!
In fact, he told her that he shot his grandmother in the head. So
the grandmother's still alive. She got shot near the ear, went in through her mouth, came out the cheek on the other side, correct, or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, and then he took her truck. That was her truck. He took her truck I mean, he didn't make it very far. He only lived like 3 blocks from the school, I think.
Yeah, he's right around the corner.
So what
And
did he
then-
shoot the grandmother with? A 22?
I'm not sure what he shot her with.
Because I mean, if you're shooting someplace around the ear, I mean, you're going to hit skull at some point, and the bullet's got to bounce off the skull to go down and out the other cheek.
Well, assuming she was not moving her head or anything, that's the only reason I see it wasn't a direct shot, is because she might have did, whoa, what are you doing, or something like that. That's why it went, choom, and just kind of like this kind of line of fire.
Yeah.
Well, that would make sense, but if anything larger than a 22 caliber, I mean, it's going to go through that bone and out the other side.
Well, and I'm thinking from what Troy and I read of what he had, I don't even think he had anything smaller than. Did he have a handgun? I didn't hear about handgun.
No, he had 2 ARs.
Yeah,
They were both ARs.
and they were large caliber.
Well, Grandma was extremely lucky.
I forgot. Yeah, very. And then so he crashes the car. He ditches. Not a good driver, obviously, because he kind of slid or lost control and went into that ditch right at the school entrance.
Right.
And then a couple of people, there's a funeral across the street, or funeral workers. He sees them. He takes a couple of shots at them. And then they run inside. They call 911. And that's when he starts to make his way towards the actual school property. Yeah, sorry, guys. I hope the sound is better now. We had some noise going on from one of our guys, and then I had the music too loud, the background music. So hopefully it's a little more
Sorry,
stable.
I was watching the new J-Lo movie.
A lot of strange circumstances. Was he going to school? No, he failed. He was supposed to graduate, and he failed. And that's one argument he was having with his grandmother. She was kind of getting on his case for not graduating. And that, even though he had this planned already, I don't think did he have it planned to shoot his grandmother? Did he mention that before? Do you remember that?
I think
Troy?
so, yeah. Yeah.
He did, okay.
Yep. So they said he entered the school at 11:33 a.m. He walked in between adjoining classrooms. And then it said at 11:35, 3 officers entered the school. 2 were wounded by him. They said that he locked the doors to the rooms 111 and 112, but briefly reemerged into the hall. Then they said gunfire was reported at 11:37, 11:38, 11:40, and 11:44. Then 4 more local officers from the police department and sheriff's office arrived. 11:43, school announces lockdown after gunshots. So, what took them so long? Like, even the guy. Like, let's go back to when he was first spotted, which was at 11:28. He was spotted by the people at
the funeral home.
The funeral home.
Yeah.
2 witnesses heard the crash and they approached the truck, and he shot at them. So it took him 5 minutes to get to the school from there, because it said at 11:33 he entered unchallenged. So that's 10 minutes. So from 11:28 to 11:38 was when they heard the first shots. So that's 10 minutes. But at 11:43 they didn't announce a lockdown until then. So what took so long? I mean, 10 minutes is a long time.
So then what is okay? So according to his timeline and the shots and the number of victims, would you say that he killed everyone like shortly right after he got there?
Well, he's in between 2 rooms, so I would probably say no.
So it's one room which is divided by one of those removable walls. That's what I understand.
Yeah, and there were and those are small classrooms because, I mean, the average. I mean, I know every school is different. And I don't know how big that school is, but like our elementary schools, there's about 28, 28 to 30-ish kids in one classroom, like just one room. So if these are two classrooms and there was 19 kids, they were fourth graders, right?
Yeah, they were between 7 and 10 or 11, something like that. 11 might have been the oldest.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just everything's very fishy.
And I know people are trying, not that they want to, but they're trying to blame this on the police, and the cops that were out there didn't go inside. I found it disturbing that they were arresting the parents and macing them, or they have their what do you call their tasers in hand, and because parents are ready to go in there and try to get their kids out, regardless of what was going on. They want to get their kids out.
Sounds like the parents have more cojones than police do.
So the police said that he shot more than 100 rounds based on the audio evidence. In total, hundreds of shots were fired in just 4 minutes. This is the stuff that I found like just over the last couple of days, like doing my own research into it.
So in those four, where are those 4 minutes? So on this timeline, are they got to be at the very beginning, I imagine.
It would have to be from, but that's what's weird. So that would have been 11:33, but they didn't report. They didn't lock the school down until 11:43. Well, that's when they announced the lockdown, and the police claim that they couldn't get in because of the lockdown, the way the school was locked down. But according to this, there were already cops there before that, so something isn't making any sense.
Yeah, because it sounds like they're calling for a lockdown, but the dude's already inside.
Right.
And I mean, let's be blunt. Cops have the ability to get into a building even if it is locked down.
Apparently not that one.
Well, I mean, there's usually a box about 10 feet or 8 feet up from the ground that they have a key to get into that door.
Again, I don't know if that's the same everywhere or for every school district and every building in this country. I don't know if that's the case.
It says here that the ATF found 15 magazines and an AR in its truck. They said 58 magazines were found at the school, 11 inside the school, 3 were on the shooter's body, 2 were in room 112, 6 were in room 111, 5 on the ground, and 1 was in the rifle. 32 magazines were located outside the school, with most of them in a backpack that he had dropped outside.
In that bag, right.
There were another 2 magazines found at his home, which were a total of 60. It says ATF uncovered 1,657 rounds of ammunition.
Oh my goodness.
So he had okay. So he had 11 inside the school. 3 were on his body. So obviously those hadn't been used. So
talking about magazines.
What's that?
You're talking about magazines?
Yeah, so he had 2 in room 112 and 6 in room 111. 5 were on the ground and 1 was in the rifle.
If those magazines were full-size magazines, you're talking 240 rounds. Just in.
So they're talking over 1,000 rounds that they found.
Yeah, and he had just a little over a quarter.
But not that he fired, right? Or are they just talking about?
Okay, so
Or
there
are they
was
not?
11. Yeah, right. So there was they found 58 at the school. 11 were inside the school. So, and 3 were on his body. So that means that he had 8 magazines that he had unloaded. He must have unloaded while he was in the school.
Yeah, that's 240 rounds.
That's excessive. And to answer Kelly, yeah, he was on his way from where he lived with his grandmother to the school. That's where he was headed, and he does not have a driver's license. Don't know why. I don't know if it's a restriction or he just didn't pass or whatever. But his car slid into a ditch. We assume not on purpose, because then that makes it harder for him to get out of it, right? But his car ended up in a ditch. He got out of his car, and he was headed to the school because he had made that he made that pretty obvious to someone.
Mm-hmm.
And then he got out of the car in the ditch, shot a couple of shots at a funeral home, and then he made his way to that front door of the school. Original report said that there was a resource officer inside who confronted him, but that turned out not to be true. At least according to the last report we got from the officer yesterday.
Well, yeah, and they just put out this morning too that the resource officer drove right past him.
Yeah, as the guy was walking towards in a parking lot, the resource officer coming back from, he heard on the radio all the stuff going on, came back, he's in the parking lot and he drives, he probably could have hit him. He drove right by the gunman walking it, on the sidewalk into the school, into those main doors.
Yeah, and another report I found today, according to his mother, which it sounded like they had a strained relationship. She said that they knew some of the victims, some of the families. So I don't know. They didn't give any names of who they knew, but she said that their families knew some of the families that were targeted in the school.
Yeah, I did hear this also, that the grandmother was on the phone with AT&T or something about his cell phone, or I don't know, whatever was going on, the account, and something there set him off. But apparently he was going to shoot her anyway. But I mean, who knows? Who knows if we'll ever know? Maybe if Grandma gets well enough, we can find out from her exactly what happened that morning before he left.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll ever. I think that with the backlash now that the police department's getting, I kind of have a feeling that this is you're gonna hear less and less about it.
AR is not a large caliber.
No, it's really not a large caliber.
Yeah, Terry, I think you're right. I think I do remember hearing they were 5.56 is what he was using.
Yeah, that's not very large, no.
Well, compared to a 9mm or a 45, it's
yeah.
It's
You're just talking long range ballistics. Yes, it is a higher power rifle.
I mean, if there's one thing that can change in regards to legislation, or at least in Texas, I don't think that 18-year-olds should be buying guns.
I totally agree.
I think that needs to change. In regards to the schools, like I said earlier, the administrations, they almost should be forced to, now all schools should be forced to have some sort of metal detectors and new safety protocols put in. They get enough money. I mean, I don't know what it's like where you guys are, but like our local courthouse, my gosh, you walk in the front door and it's like Fort Knox. There's like 8 or 10 sheriffs and, metal detectors everywhere. I mean, you got sheriffs in the front of the metal detectors and you got sheriffs on the back side of the metal detectors. I'm not saying that schools need to be that way, but I'm saying we're protecting judges and stuff, but we're not going to protect our kids. Like that
Yeah.
all needs to change. This should be changed like yesterday. You know?
Yeah, and I think there's something that if it's taking if it took that kid financing a firearm, I think there needs to be a law passed to where firearms cannot be financed. Period.
What's the difference if you finance it or if you put it on a credit card? There's no difference. You can't stop
Yeah.
that.
How many 18-year-olds have a $5,000 credit limit on their credit card?
Be surprised.
Yeah, but still, it could be just a handgun or a rifle or something.
Yeah, I see both their points. There's no difference if you use a credit card, but I think what Shane means is maybe just not allow gun dealers to offer financing, like their own financing. You know, maybe just make it harder. You know, and like you and I talked about earlier, Manny. I think too that if you're going to purchase a gun, I think that you should have to go through a safety course first. I think that you should have to have some sort of certificate to provide that you can fire a safety arm properly, carry it, load it, unload it, and have a mental health evaluation done before you can purchase a gun.
Yeah, and you hate to think, I'm not in favor of putting all kind of restrictions or making it more difficult. However, if it's a young person, I think it's common sense to get it right early on.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about if there's a responsible gun owner for years and years, and as the years go on, he's obviously not a threat or not a criminal. He's a hunter. He's whatever on a farm, and he's been having a firearm forever. You don't have to be so tight on his restrictions, but I don't see a problem with some kind of additional screening. An 18-year-old shouldn't in the first place at all. We talked about this yesterday. 25, 26 is when you can rent a car, and they do that for a reason. And I don't know, maybe the same thing should happen with firearms, unless you got a sponsor like a parent or something like that.
Yeah.
There are families that hunt, and that's their business, right? It's their trade.
But even so, a 25-year-old is not mature enough to. Some 25-year-olds are not mature enough to own a gun, just like they're not mature enough to drive a car.
Right.
Well, you would hope at 25 you'd be a lot better off than when he was 21.
And I totally agree with the 25 age limit. I mean, I said that last night. I'm all for it.
And having said that, the guy who's 32 in line behind him, he might not be ready. He might be pissed off at the world for some reason, and he's not ready.
You can't hold this person say, "Oh, well, we can't sell you a gun until after you go through all these measures," and then the guy right behind him go, "Okay, well, you're good. You're 30 years old. Yep, pick your gun, go home, do whatever you want to do." You can't. You're a Democrat then. I mean, rules for one, but not for the other.
Yeah, there should be some sort of a mental health evaluation, I think, before you could purchase a gun. I think everybody should be subject to that. I don't know. Again, every law is different. So in PA, we have open carry. Do you guys have that? Do any of you guys have that where you are? Open carry?
Texas.
I do, and
But we also have a conceal. You can actually get a license to carry a weapon and conceal it, and it gets renewed every 5 years. So I was actually thinking about this today after I hung up with you, Manny. I was like, okay, let's say they have a mental health evaluation before you get your license or before you get a gun. Yeah, I know things can happen in between that year and year 5, but maybe when you go to get your license renewed, maybe you have to take another mental health evaluation. In this state, in our state, take the, get the evaluation, and then if things are good and you pass, then you get your license to conceal renewed. I don't know. There's a lot of things I think, that they could do, but like you said, without putting a ton of restrictions, on people too. You don't want that.
Yeah,
And
what we don't want is to hurt the responsible gun owner.
Right.
You know,
Right.
he shouldn't have to be put in a position to now he can't do this, now he can't do that. All he does is target practice, or he's an instructor, maybe. You know, who knows what he is.
see, I agree with like going taking a class, whatever. I open carry. South Dakota is a constitutional carry. I have an AR-15. I have my shotgun and my pistol, pretty much with me at all times. But I could hand my 5-year-old and my 7-year-old my pistol, and they know how to handle it because they're trained at a very young age to handle every gun, no matter what it is, like it's loaded.
Well, they had some kind of award ceremony or something at the school. I'm not exactly sure what happened or when that was, actually. Some kind of event was going there. So it's not fair to blame the police. The school's at fault as well. Then, I mean, for leaving the door open, big no-no. I mean, people knew it was going to happen. Did it get left open beyond the time it was supposed to? You know, once the last person was done, or it just too many things going on here. But the point is, okay, the door was open. Now the guy's inside. Then what? Now the police show up and nobody's running inside to stop this guy. What happened there? That's what I want to know. Pulled the officers in the hallway, and the kid told the kids to yell if they needed help. So the kids yelled, and he heard them and started shooting at the kids yelling. Yeah, and a true lockdown means you lock it down. Whoever's outside stays outside. Whoever's inside is locked inside. That's correct. To get Italian for, yeah, true. I don't think it's supposed to storm when hostages are alive.
That is correct, Kelly. But at the point where you're hearing gunshots, you can't assume that there's hostages.
Yeah, if the guy's just walking the hallway.
It's an active shooter situation, and under the police protocol, if there's 2 police officers, they're supposed to stack up and go in.
Yeah, if he's walking the hallway, I don't think that I'd call that a hostage situation, right? That's what's called an active shooter. That's what they say, active shooter situation. So there's multiple classrooms on both sides of the hallway that there were children in, and they actually escaped through the window. Yeah.
So, and it did. So, I can't remember what it's called, but the Border Patrol deal, the tactical team,
yeah,
BORTAC.
Some kind of elite. Yes, correct.
So BORTAC wasn't even truly assembled. They actually called in U.S. Marshals to actually help reinforce BORTAC.
So even they weren't fully assembled, and it was that one guy on his day off, or he was off, who heard all this activity, and he shot over there. And if I got this right, yeah, pretty much. He said
he was the one
standing around for him. I mean, he didn't say it like that, but he just said, "I'm going in," and he went in and done. End of story.
Yeah, he did what needed to be done that nobody had big enough balls to do.
Yeah. Well, he was a person who, he was one of the first people on the scene, and as soon as he got there, and more people showed up, they hadn't even assembled everybody together. They were just filling in the hallway, and he said, "You know what? Somebody's going to have to do it." So he took the plunge down the fatal tunnel and went in.
Yeah. And thank God he
And
did. And then there's stories about him. There's an article about him already. And I mean, glad he did, but
they went into the wrong classroom too. That's the thing. So the classrooms had, so I think it was what 12 and 14 were side by side,
it's something like that. Yeah.
but there wasn't a true wall in between them.
Right. It was like a
There
temporary
was a
wall.
divider.
It was a large
They went
classroom.
into
There's
the
a
front
convertible.
side.
It's called a convertible classroom. And
Yeah, they went in the front side of the classroom, and he wasn't there. Well, now he knew that where they were coming in next.
so if you're talking about rounds, Jessica, yeah, there was over 1,000 rounds that they found. And I thought I heard it was over 1,400 rounds. Everywhere from his car, from the car into the class, into the school. That's how many rounds that they found. That was a lot of ammunition. It took an off-duty patrol officer to finally go in and stop. And police officer signed up to put their life. I know, I get it, and that's why I hate this. I don't want to call anybody coward. I'm not going to say that. I'm sure they were following whatever rules, or they were told to stand down. Right? Somebody told them to stand down. Don't be a hero. But I don't know, man. You got a class full of little kids, and how can you not?
It should have been a lot faster response time, no matter what happened.
It's not about being a hero. How can you just not take it upon yourself and just go?
I mean, 2 police stations within a mile and a half radius of the school.
I don't know about the police officer, about the resource officer taking a nap. If it was on his lunch, I suppose he can do whatever he wants on his lunch, right? But I don't know enough of that. Yeah, Terry, I think it was a 5.56. That's what I heard. Pretty sure. Bam, sleepy? Yeah. Not fair to say at all.
I'm a little sleepy. Manny kept me up way too late last night. Bad Manny.
Yeah, the stupid testing.
I got off of work and I was still listening to the rest of your stuff.
Yeah, less of the restrictions. Yeah, and I'm a gun guy. I'm a gun nut, and I think there should be a little more, some kind of, I know it's a bad word, some kind of restriction, but an 18-year-old should not be able to walk out with any kind of firearm. My opinion. Unless he got a sponsor.
Even with the sponsor, I don't think an 18-year-old's mature enough to
operate. You may be right, but if a father says, "I'm going to vouch for him. He's my son. We go hunting. Family."
Well, Dad buys the gun, and it's in Dad's name, and the kid can use it with Dad.
Okay, there you go. That's fine too that way. Well, if they can enlist at 18, are they given guns? See, but that's different though.
But they are trained to use them.
Yeah, they will be trained to use them, and they're not handed guns as soon as they sign up.
No, that's usually 2 or 3 weeks.
They're trained to kill.
Yeah, even more than 2 or 3 weeks, right? Bam, you were telling us how long it takes. Once you enlist in the military, you're not handed a firearm with your shoes.
Well, no, you got to make it through basic training first, and then after you're out of boot camp, then you go into either more training or you go straight into your assigned duty where you are trained to do that. But I mean, it's training, kind of like school. But the second you get to boot camp, at least so in the Navy, I mean, I don't know any other one, you're not handed a sidearm. Maybe you are in the Army, I don't know.
Yeah, anymore in the Navy. In the Navy, it's you get through your first 8 weeks of basic, and then you go to ACE school.
Yeah, that's true. This is, I know this is a thing, but I don't know if that's what happened. Troy and I made the assumption that he financed it, because one day he got almost $2,500 purchase, and then the next day he came back, or 2 days later, he returned and he bought the second firearm.
And then the ammunition alone would be, 1,600 rounds. That's a lot of ammunition.
This is another thing too. How much of that 40 billion would it take? To secure a lot of these schools in the country? How much of that 40 billion?
Well, first off, you got to get people in Congress that care about the United States to take care of number one before you take care of the rest of the fucking world. Because right now they only care about doing everything for everybody and America last. They don't give a rat's ass about America.
I agree.
And that's completely obvious with billions upon billions upon billions given to every country in this world except the United States.
Yeah, I don't know why the term America First became such a bad thing.
Well, and if you think about it and look through history, I know we're not supposed to look at history because it's not truth. History is not the truth. That's why we don't teach it anymore, because it's not true. But if you look back at all the history at what America has done, America has always been, we got to give $30 billion to this country and $80 billion to this country. Oh, you had a tsunami hit you? Oh, here's $150 billion. Don't worry about paying us back. Okay, fine. Help the other humans on this planet. I don't have a problem with that. But take care of number one before you help the rest of the fucking world.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that sentiment either. I feel like that. This is true too. Shit, there are 40-year-olds that don't have self-control. Yeah,
you're absolutely right. Look at me. Look how many times in the last 25 seconds I said fuck.
25-year-old isn't responsible. Yeah, it's you would hope a 25-year-old is more responsible than an 18-year-old.
One would hope that they are more mature and more responsible, but
but it doesn't mean that they're there, they're done.
Yeah, guys in particular, we mature extremely later in life. Women, you mature very quick. And you have your heads on you. Where us guys, we're pretty much, we don't have our head on straight until we're like somewhere in our 40s. That's when it's completely on straight. But when we're in our 20s, we're still acting like 12. And then when we get into our 30s, we're more like, okay, yeah, I guess it's time to maybe start considering, being an adult, start adulting, paying my bills, do this, do that, and then later, maybe it's time for me to have a family. Okay, well, then you're in your 40s. Guys, it takes us a long damn time to get our shit together.
Yeah, and I said it before, women have to get their life on track and in order. They pretty much have a time limit, once you start getting into your early 30s, you got to figure things out if you want to have a family.
Well, yeah, that's because they're born with all the eggs they're ever going to produce or have. Ticking. Yeah, where guys, we can create those fucking swimmers up until the day we die.
Yeah, for a woman, it's different. It's like a requirement. You have to have your life in order and figure it out.
That's why you got to get us guys young and train us.
Train the guys. They make you talk to someone to see if you're mentally ready for a gastric bypass, but not to go buy a gun. I know, right? It should be. So you want to buy a gun? All right, go talk to the the counselors over at blah blah blah, and to kind of have a generic conversation, and they'll say, "Yeah, that's okay."
I like Julie Van Horn's comment at the very bottom. Ex-military, armed guards, lock the doors to every school. And that's something I was watching some TikTok videos, last night. Actually, it was early this morning, about 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, Texas just passed. Hey, Chuck, this was recently, right? Was that for this year? Or
Yeah, they just passed
the
it
better
either
part of
this
last
year or
year,
last year.
where you don't need the license to open carry anymore? I say medical affidavit, different classes like driver license. Yeah, that's, you know what? The days of the old traditional gun ownership of the early 1900s and 1800s and early 1900s are over. You have to adjust with the times. You have to change. Life changes, people change.
But
You have to
let's
adapt.
be blunt. The Constitution, the Second Amendment, it says shall not be infringed, and constitutionality, that is the only constitutional amendment that has not been changed since passage. It's been challenged multiple
Yeah.
times.
Well, I think, sorry to say, times are changing, and
But
cultures
I
are
think
different.
I think that one explicitly, and this is where I'll disagree with pretty much anybody, but that 2A is the only one that explicitly says shall not be infringed.
Well, it can say whatever it wants, but I think right now there's a problem.
Yeah, but the only way that's getting changed is if 3/4 of the United States actually goes to Congress and changes it.
Well, then maybe a movement is needed because something is wrong, and
Yeah.
you can't let an 18-year-old buy a long gun like this.
Well, and I know in South Dakota I could not buy a long gun until I was 21.
Is there a limit on the purchase of ammunition? Right now, there's only a limit because of scarcity, shortages. But if you wanted to go in and buy a case or 5 cases, if they had it in stock and he wanted to sell it to you, you're free to purchase.
And it depends on the state as well. Some states have laws that restrict the purchase of over certain amounts of ammunition.
Yeah.
And I know in South Dakota, we have constitutional carry. We don't have limits, but individual stores, if you go in there, if you try to buy more than a case, they'll stop you, say, we're not selling you any more than a case. They'll straight up lie to your face and say, hey, we don't have enough to sell you anymore.
Yeah.
Where's
But
this? Because a friend of mine buys cases of ammo all the time.
Yeah, I'm just talking the stores that I've bought all my guns from.
Okay.
Right near where I'm at here in South Dakota.
Hey, Deborah, mental health evaluation can involve people who are anti-gun owning and block people from buying even when there's nothing wrong with them. This is true too. That's a problem.
And that's why we could have the mental health. And I agree there needs to be classes. Anybody who buys a firearm should have to take a class. And if they are passed through that class and something happens and they shoot up a school or something,
like there's don't collect go. You're right to jail, straight to jail. And
yeah, it is pretty much you get caught with a handgun or a long gun in a school zone.
I was going to bring this up. See, AR-15 style. That's what they were. AR-15 style. More law enforcement sent from the valley to help out. Yeah, they went up, but I mean, I don't know what. It's just a show of support. I don't know what help they need up there right now, but they're just going for moral support. There was during COVID. Not sure about now. Should they limit ammo purchase and extend somewhat during hunting season? Yeah, that's done by community during those seasons, or they amp up their supply for hunting season. You know what? You want to know a funny thing? Bam knows this. Oh, Shane, you might also.
2.2 pounds.
Bam and I worked at Sioux Falls, South Dakota airport, and during hunting season, opening day, like hunting season.
Oh, sweet Jesus, Mary and Joseph!
It's a freaking convention in the airport, inside the lobby of the airport. You can buy ammo. You can buy rifles.
Swear to God, it's the only airport in the country that sells ammo.
You can buy ammo at the freaking airport in South Dakota.
I got off the airplane coming back from California. Flew in, got off the airplane, and it was right during that. I bought a rifle, I bought a pistol, and a boatload of ammunition.
Ain't that crazy? And then you get hunters who are flying in and out, and they're flying out too much ammo, right? There's a limit. Oh no, for the airline there's a limit how much you can actually transport with you. It's got to be in boxes. It's got to be in the original boxes or some kind of specialized case for transporting ammo. And if you don't have it, there might be a few extra pieces left over, or the guy doesn't want to travel with it. He hands it over in a little bag or a cap, and he'll here's some shotgun shells. So can you guys dispose of this for me? And we're like, all right. And anybody have a shotgun? And I'm not supposed to say that, but I don't work there anymore. So we kind of, whoever has a shotgun that can use it, just takes it home.
I think we all, you, Bam, and I have all worked for the same airline.
I don't know if Bam ever worked for SkyWest, so.
Oh, well.
Yes, I did, but not for long.
Yeah, and then his mother, I don't even want to say his name, the shooter's mother was telling everyone not to judge her son. This is all in Spanish. She said he had a reason for doing it, and not to judge him. To which, first thought was like, yeah, you shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, because no matter what his fucking reason is, it's not a good enough one, and it's not fucking right. I mean, he's crazy. And don't judge him. I'm sorry, you came in, you shot up a bunch of little grade school kids. Don't judge him. The motherfucker is crazy.
Yeah,
I'll judge all damn day long.
You're a sick individual if you can. Again, I said this yesterday. If you can look at an 8-year-old, you can look at an 8-year-old and pull the trigger.
I mean, somebody that does not like kids, I have a problem with this motherfucker shooting up the kids.
And
yeah, people are gonna judge. Sorry, lady, they're gonna judge. It's we got 12-year-olds competing at state trap shooting. That'll be over 5,000 kids. Dang, that's awesome.
But I mean, okay, you can't even get a hunt. You can't even have a youth hunt license in the state of South Dakota until you are 10 years old.
10 years old?
10 years old. You have to go through the hunter safety course before you can even get a deer license.
Yeah, it's got to be some kind of mandatory training. You want to get a handgun for the first time, you just turned, let's say it becomes 21 or 22. Take a written test, gun safety, the gun laws, what's supposed to happen to you if you break the gun laws, and then more, training, tactical or safety training or whatever.
I would go safety. You don't want people having tactical training.
Well, yeah. So safety training and know what the laws are. Yeah, they did have the lockdown took, I don't know, man. It's just a
bad
Manny, deal.
It's been a pleasure.
You gotta go? All right.
I have to bounce. So, y'all have
we're going to wrap it up here pretty soon. All right. See you, Shane.
We'll talk soon.
We'll talk later. Yep. Judging all people based on age and not as an individual isn't correct. That's like parents act as if each of their children are all exactly the same. I've known plenty of very responsible 25-year-olds because they were married and had families. They were already taken care of. Not all 25-year-olds are idiots. Yeah, true. That's true too. That's. I'm not going to dispute that one.
Oh no, yeah, I agree with that comment.
And but you gotta put a hard number on it. So if it's going to be 25, then it's going to be 25. A lot of people are not going to be happy about that.
And the people that aren't happy about it are probably the ones that have some sort of sickness and plans to do something like this anyway. I mean, yeah, I wasn't happy when the drinking age went from 18 to 21 in Wisconsin, but did it really bother me? No, because I was 18, so I was grandfathered in. I could go to Wisconsin and drink. But it bothered everybody else that wasn't 18 because they were like, 17 and a half or something. Oh, well, I can't go. Well, guess what? At your SOL. It's change is difficult, but usually it's good.
Terry, this is exactly the problem right here. North America has a serious social and family fabric issue. Until we get back to respecting each other, nothing is going to change. Amen. And how did we get to that? Why did it get to the way it is right now? And then how do we get back to it? Why are a lot of young people so defiant, right?
Get rid of the fucking trophy generation for starters.
I happen to believe the participation trophy was part of the problem. It's part of the problem. At least where it started.
I think it may have started before that because I think we started coddling before that. And then, but it was around that time. Oh, he got his feelings hurt. Okay, yeah, he got his feelings hurt. Okay, well, turn him into a man, give him some tough fucking skin.
Yeah, talk to the kids. You know what? You got to practice more. You want to win next time? You got to practice more.
Hard work, motherfucker.
You got to train a little more. You got to train, 4 times a week instead of twice a week. And then you can win. Correct. He was not there. He was out on lunch, or he got in his car to make the rounds around the neighborhood, maybe, or something like that.
Went home to, slap and tickle real quick. Come back to work.
Or something. Or take a nap. Somebody said somebody was taking a nap somewhere.
Hey, there ain't nothing wrong with Nappy Town. I like Nappy Town.
Supposedly 1 or 2 officers went in to save their own kids. That is turned out to be false. There are a couple of police officers, or one that I know of, that actually lost a child in that shooting. So I know there was a rumor that cops went in to try to save their own kids. I don't have confirmation of that, but I do know a police officer lost his child in that shooting there. I read his wife was a teacher. She texted him and he left immediately from his barber. His wife is a teacher there, and his child was a student. He got them out, went back and got. I don't know if that's the case. If teachers have to get certified subs to cover for them, then who's a certified person covering when security leaves campus? Yeah, I don't know that they're supposed to leave. I don't know how that works. Something went very bad. True. It works. The people are not working. The people have malfunctioned.
Isn't that the fucking truth?
The people have malfunctioned. Something went terribly bad.
Nailed on the head right there. Right fucking there, you hit the nail on the head.
Something went horribly wrong with people.
Yeah, look at Nancy. I mean, she's fucking left-wing nuts.
It's bad when the priest says, no, you don't get communion. It's bad when that happens. Stricter background checks. I'm okay with that. Yep.
Yeah, but how much more stricter can you get from, a 10, 15-year background check?
I don't know. I mean, a normal gun background check. What does that involve? You know what? I'm gonna try
Well,
to
and
get
each
people in
state's
here.
different. Each state is different.
I'm gonna try to get people in here who know about this, so we can ask what's wrong. Each state. So not all states have the same kind of background check. I thought it was like a federal background check.
No, each state has their own requirement for gun purchases.
See, that's a problem right there. That's one problem. There should be a gun purchase should be a federal purchase. That's a federal background check and everything that goes with it. That's what I think. You're talking about something that could end somebody's life 5 seconds after he walks out the door with it.
You're talking about something that could save somebody's life.
In
5
turn,
seconds
it
after
could
they
save
walk out
someone's
the
life.
door.
Yep. But if an 18-year-old is going out the door, he's not a superhero with a gun. He's just, we got a new gun.
Well, he's going to be the stupid one that puts bullets in it and then puts it in his waistband and shoots his dick off.
That happened the other day. He didn't shoot his dick off, but a guy carried a gun into the school and he shot himself in the foot. No lie. I'll look up the story later. I'll put that up later. Thank you for putting your life on the line for us. Yeah, all the cops and police who do, we appreciate you no matter what.
Firemen.
It's not easy.
Being cheesy.
When there's a dude with however many magazines of rounds he's got, then you got to walk in there to try to stop him when you don't have your bulletproof vest or anything, and the public expects you to run in there and save their child.
But, that's kind of why they're paid.
Yeah, but then they got their regulations to follow, which is what happened here. They were told they were told to stand down.
But then you have that guy that comes in and goes, I don't know what the problem was. Our policy is there's an active shooter. You go in until the motherfucker is dead. And he stopped it there. But he should have said, or in cuffs when it's done and over with. That's their policy. He stated it. Why they're sitting out there finger fucking each other for 77 minutes outside the building is beyond all of us. And that's going to be the basis of the lawsuits.
Yep. Bad situation. Again, federal, I don't think he had to follow whatever their little policy or rules were. He was like, I'm going in. I don't care. And I'm sure he was dressed as a tease in his tactical gear, but.
Well, he did what he was paid to do, which is go in there and put an end to the situation.
My nephews hunted with their father when they were younger. They're responsible young men. That's good. I'm glad they are. Maybe if there was a lot more that starting in the family young, that teaches kids how to respect a firearm early. And not just what you see on TV, a lot of that shoot 'em up crap. Can they use $190 billion of COVID money to secure our schools? They can. That money's there, and if it doesn't get used, it's not going to get used.
I mean, a lot of these movies make guns, and video games make guns. I mean, they glorify them.
Yeah.
And the first active shooter games, they glorify them. I mean, I enjoy the first active shooter games. I mean, they're a lot of fun, but you, for one, have to realize that that's fantasy and not reality. If you live in that, if you live in that world, mom and dad needs to go, something's wrong with my kid. I think maybe we need to get him some couch time with a professional.
Yeah, you have to suck up that pride. You got to say, you know what? Something's wrong. We better talk to somebody. Instead of, no, he'll be okay. He'll be okay. Let's buy him a cake. Let's take him out to eat. Taking him out to eat is not going to do anything. He needs to talk to somebody.
So I kind of get, us. I mean, we were brought up old school, and get tough skin, and then you have this situation. Okay, well, this situation doesn't You're not gonna. Oh, he'll be okay. He'll be okay, and gets tough skin. No, he's not going to be okay. This motherfucker's a sick individual already. We need to get him some serious sofa time with maybe more than one shrink. He might need to be seeing a series of shrinks on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So I mean, we need the old school approach, but you need to be a little bit understanding, caring, and force these fucking kids into couch time.
Yeah.
Don't go, oh, do you think it would be okay if maybe you sat down and talked to somebody? No, it's not going to.
No, it's like,
you don't give them the option.
Yeah, we're going somewhere right now. So
come on, put your shoes on, get off your ass, put the game down. We're going.
It is possible. You know, one of my first credit things I ever got was Circuit City. Remember Circuit City?
Love that store.
They gave me $3,000 of credit. That was my initial first time credit for anything, if I think I remember correctly. So yeah, they will give that much credit right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, my first credit card I ever got was a Visa card. And I didn't think I was going to get approved for it, but I applied for it for the shits and giggles of it. I think I was 19 years old, and I got it, and I got a $4,900 credit limit.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. And I was like, wow, shopping. Okay, well, yeah, I mean, I enjoy using the hell out of the card. I didn't know I was supposed to pay it back.
Very true, Kelly. I agree 100%. 85B equipment in Afghanistan. 85B.
That we left, but supposedly we dismantled it. Yeah. Supposedly. We took the vital organs out of it.
Dismantle, like helicopters were left without their guts or the computer systems or stuff like that. And certain weaponry without key computer equipment or whatever.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that stuff's being given to Russia right now to help the war in Ukraine. I guarantee it.
Hey, Jennifer. Glad you can make it. Gina says, yeah, you're so right. Julie, ex-military armed guards and locked doors in every school. So some of these school budgets are crazy. There's a lot of money. And some of these superintendents are getting paid way too much money.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much you paid an armed school guard. I don't know how much you pay him. But here in Brownsville, the dude's making, I believe, over $400,000. Superintendent of the school district here. That's almost $500,000. And by the time another year or two is up, he'll be close to $500,000 already. Like,
so the school district.
Yeah.
The school district I work for, they get money several different ways from the state. The state gives the school district money for every child that attends school on a daily basis.
Uh-huh.
Then they get money for every child that rides the bus to and from.
Hey, little girl. Uh-huh.
And then they get even more money from special needs children, whether it's a wheelchair or they're mentally disabled in some way, fashion, or form, that rides the bus. I only know this because I heard the stellar amount the other day. The state gives my school district $5,000 a day for every wheelchair that rides the bus.
$5,000 a day.
Just for one wheelchair on a bus.
Damn.
So, if you think about it, I mean, just in wheelchairs, my bus holds one. We have another bus that holds four. I mean, that's $25,000 just in two buses.
Yeah.
And I don't know the dollar amount that the kids or that we get for the kids that ride a bus, or how much the state gives our school board for a kid in school for 8 hours a day. But I mean, you're talking $25,000 just for 5 wheelchairs every day.
Yeah.
And they're in school 180 some odd days a year. That's a lot of money.
Tons of money.
Just for those 5 wheelchairs.
Well, the problem with caring for teachers, some teachers in Texas are going to have a problem with that. At least in Texas, teachers are overloaded with things to do. Work. They work from 6 a.m. until midnight, a lot of times on their own dime, doing extra and not getting paid for it, not getting raises. So now you want to ask them, would you mind carrying, a concealed weapon? And you'll get some that will. They're like, yeah, of course I will. But a lot, understandably, are going to go, hell no. I have enough. You don't pay me enough. I have enough to do already.
But one would hope that they would go, okay, well, if I'm put in that situation, what am I going to do? Am I going to sit and cower underneath my desk like they tell us and train us to do? Or am I going to grab a gun and try to help? I mean, either way,
and they're always
going to have a 50-50 shot of getting shot.
They're always going to, we hope that hopefully that won't happen here. Hopefully that won't happen here.
Well, and one would hope that it doesn't.
And that goes to the other argument, arguing with a screaming liberal yesterday and the last few days about, no handguns at all. Somebody breaks into your house. I said, what do you do if somebody breaks into your house? Well, I'll call 911. I think, good luck with that. No red flag limit Texas. You can buy a pallet. Yeah, that's correct. That's what I figured. Now, you may not be able to buy a pallet's worth because there's a shortage. They're scarce.
Yeah, they are scarce. Or if you can buy it, can you really afford it?
Right. That's the other thing. But right, you're ideally you can buy whatever you want. If they have it in stock, they'll sell it to you. It's a sin problem. They've taken God out of schools and teaching our kids hate schools. I agree with a lot of that.
I agree with some of that, yes.
Some of that, yeah. Definitely. They're pushing other freaking ideals.
They are pushing their own agendas in school and not the basics is what they need to they need to teach. Go back to the basics. Reading, math, arithmetic, history, home ec, shop. Leave fucking politics out of schools.
Hey, Anissa. Yeah.
Politics have absolutely no business in school.
Teach the basics like they used to, modify it a little bit. I think there should be more life skills teaching.
Oh, absolutely.
History, the Constitution, yeah, stuff like that for sure. Mathematics, so they can figure out their own time cards, do their own taxes, stuff like that. Bank account, figure out your bank account, stuff like that. Get them a little bit into some kind of art, see if they got talent or something, art or molding or sculpting or woodcraft, whatever.
Music, theater.
Music, right? Drama.
When they started taking music out of schools is when a lot of this started going left.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you think about it, music is more than music because music is math. Everything's done in quarters and eighths. And so, it's all math.
Yeah, I don't want to say that dude's name. I don't know. He was here, and apparently he's going to Uvalde tomorrow. Everybody's got to get their connection to Uvalde. Texas DPS officer Victor Escalon, who did the news briefing and was totally confused. I was not. Dude wasn't prepared for that. I don't know why. If you're not ready for a press conference, don't do one. If the press
you only end up looking like an ass.
If the press is there and they want, to what? You don't answer to the press. We're not ready yet. We'll let you know when we are.
Yeah. There's absolutely nothing wrong with saying, I don't have all the information yet. Give us 4 or 5 hours. We'll get back to you.
I thought I recognized the name. If that's correct, then your second part of that is correct. Yeah. Wow. Don't judge. She had a reason. Yeah, she said that. And I mean, as I said, I made a comment on an article, some post. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt that she's in shock, she's in mourning, and she's not right in the head right now. So for what she said, I'll give her a pass on it.
Oh, I won't.
I'll give her a pass for a little while, and we'll see how she is in a few days. But she's not good right now.
I get that she just lost her son, but he wasn't living with her anyway, so she lost him a long time ago.
Yeah, they should send a questionnaire to all children and staff to see if they know what to do, if the training they give them is effective. And even if they give them effective training, you leave the front door open for this to happen, then you just killed all the training. I mean, a lot of training is not going to protect you from that dude walking around there with that AR weapon.
Well, and then if so, are you going to remember any of the training? Because you're going to be so scared, so frantic. I mean, your mind is going to be going a million miles an hour. You're not going to be able to remember shit.
The key is to keep them out of the school. Keep them outside. That's the key to keeping kids safe and teachers safe. Hello, this wasn't an accident. It wasn't about safety. Get to the root. Yeah, evil. One way or another, even if he stood outside shooting through the glass, he was going to do it one way or another.
Drugs.
Don't know if he was on drugs. Hopefully we'll get a tox report when they do the autopsy. See if he was drugged up or not. I don't know if he was. I have no idea. But it's just evil for some reason, man. Some evil gets in.
So what are you saying? We needed to hold him down and perform a fucking exorcist on his ass?
Yeah, that's probably what he needed. Some kind of intervention that didn't happen. Dude was too. Why are young people so angry at the freaking world? For what?
They were
because
bullied.
They feel like they're owed something. Again, back to the participation trophy. That's my thing. That's my thing.
I mean, I was bullied in school. You don't see me shooting up motherfuckers.
Yeah, okay.
My bully even ran me over with the fucking car.
That's what we talked about yesterday. How are parents protecting their kids against bullies? How are you teaching your kid not to be bullied, not to worry about a bully, not care about a bully, not care if somebody laughs at you, or not care if somebody said a joke about you or said a joke about your mother? You gotta tell them, who cares? Why you worry about that? Laugh it off.
I don't give a flying rat's ass what this motherfucker thinks about me. Does it hurt? Does his comments hurt? Yeah, well, maybe. But fuck him. I don't fucking care. That's his opinion. Everybody's got an opinion.
Yeah, you got to teach them. Everyone's going to have an opinion. Everyone's going to have to think differently. And just like you're going to think different of somebody else, that's why you shouldn't judge like that.
Well, this motherfucker was crazy. I'm judging that motherfucker. He's crazy.
It's a good training point for your kids. But you gotta. This is when you gotta teach them. Don't worry about the bullies. Or teach them how to fight or something. But not to be afraid
go
of
up
them.
And kick him right square between the fucking legs.
But not to be afraid of them. You don't want people afraid of bullies. You got to confront. You keep running from a bully or show that you're scared. You're empowering the bully. Once the bully sees you don't care or you're just whatever, then that's when he's gonna say, "Well, it's not fun anymore."
Yeah. As long as you keep playing along, it's fun for him.
Why didn't the mother raise him? She didn't want the problem and sent. I don't know. That's a reasonable.
And I'm
response.
assuming that she couldn't handle him, so she sent him off to grandma. And I don't know if it's her mom or dad's mom, but obviously she couldn't handle the child, or she was working so many hours she wasn't home to handle the child. So he had no supervision.
We get into what I said yesterday. Some of y'all didn't hear this yesterday. Parents are not involved enough in their kids' life, in their kids' business.
They're not.
You just leave them be. And if you have to work a lot, I understand, and it's a tough thing. You
Go
got to
ahead.
be involved. You got to be involved. You have to find a way to do it.
I
Get
remember.
somebody in the family to come in and get involved.
I remember growing up back in the 70s, and we never had family mealtime at a table. And then all of a sudden, my sister got on cocaine, and then she went through rehab and got out of rehab. And then all of a sudden, it's like we're sitting down for family meals at the table. It's like, well, what the fuck is this? And it's like mom and dad tried to do this, tried to do that. I mean, all of a sudden, everything's trying to change into like this family atmosphere and try to pretend that there were, or try to be this one big happy family that we never were and never could be, because we all just did our own fucking thing.
Yeah. Okay, so Jessica's comment is it was the school's responsibility to take care of the kids. And it really is.
Well, yeah, when your kids are in your building, it's their responsibility.
They should have protocol to keep them out. They failed. Now it is affecting us here. 10 threats already. Yeah, because now you got the copycats. Now everybody's going to be threatening schools, thinking they want their name in the news and that kind of thing. It's just stupid. They made a couple of arrests already the same day or the day after down here in South Texas. And they arrested, and they're going to prosecute these kids for threatening to shoot up a school. Uvalde School Police Chief Pete Arredondo just won a seat on the city council and is now nowhere to be found. What should happen? Yeah, where is he now? Too much government, no good. Agreed.
I totally agree with that.
Yes, I read this. Okay, it was in Arlington, Texas, the day after Uvalde. There also, yeah. We have the right to bear arms. The only way to prevent death is throw everyone away. Restrictions are for law-abiding citizens. Criminals find a way. Criminals will always find a way. Criminals,
Well, they do. I mean, if you're a criminal, you're going to find a way to own a gun, buy ammo for that gun. You're going to find a way. That's what criminals do. Law-abiding citizens do everything the correct way.
You're a criminal. You don't care about the freaking laws. You don't care a rat's ass about any of the laws that are passed at all whatsoever.
But for every one criminal, there's 100 law-abiding citizens that do everything the correct way. But yet, the government wants to take our guns from us when it's always the one that ruins it for everybody else.
Oh, busy. Oh, Elizabeth, you're busy there with all your social media. People need to pay attention to the truth. Yeah, people need to pay attention to their freaking kids. You got to get involved in your kid's life.
And there's absolutely nothing wrong with tearing that ass up. Spank the hell out that kid. Teach him a fucking lesson.
Became a very bad thing when it became a crime now to discipline your own child. It's like, that's none of your damn business how I'm going to spank my kid or not, how I'm teaching him right or wrong. That's my family's business, not the government's business.
Now all of a sudden, because we can't beat a kid's ass, we have shootings in schools.
I would make that connection, yeah. To an extent, I would make that connection.
Oh, absolutely.
Every country places the same video games and has the same amount of mental problems, but they don't have these shootings because the guns that are only for killing humans aren't allowed there. No one in this country is going hunting with an AR-15 because it will destroy the animal. Not necessarily. People go hunting with AR-15s. The weapon he bought, the weapon this kid bought is used for, it's popular for hog hunting, from what I hear. I say the number of officers on campus should be according to how many students enrolled. Yeah, that, and according to
the size of the school, square
footage, how many entrances are there, even though only one should be open, how many are there, you know? Definitely, for sure.
Well, if you have a school that holds 4,000 kids, you can't funnel all 4,000 kids through one door.
Yeah, so you're going to have...
You got to have at least 2 or 3 entrances for morning. But during emergencies or whatever, yeah, everything's got to be accessible.
Teachers resigning, retiring, yeah, that's going to be a problem. Plus, they get paid for each kid that eats school lunches. So the money is there for this kind of to fix the security issue.
Is that per day, per month, per year? What is that, Isabella?
$10,000 per student in Texas.
I'm assuming that might be per school year.
Yeah, I imagine so. Armed teachers, that is so stupid. I don't know single teacher that wants to carry. I know some that want to carry. I know some that would. Why not arm elementary school kids? See? Come on, man. You're being a typical Democrat, Chuck. Be reasonable.
Don't call Chuck a typical Democrat.
Be reasonable.
I like Chuck.
I like Chuck too, but be reasonable, bro. That's not what we're talking about. There are some teachers who would carry.
Oh, absolutely.
If that would have solved this problem the other day, I'll bet you ask 100 teachers, 100 of them would have said, yes, I would have carried, I would have trained, I would have been able to stop that. Yeah, I would have done it.
Julie, I totally agree that dollar amount is 100% ridiculous, but that's what the state of Illinois pays our school district. And that is why my state is bankrupt. But they refuse to file bankruptcy.
I wouldn't trust half or more of the teachers to carry. Seems like most of them are woke. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I wouldn't want to arm you wouldn't need every single teacher armed.
No.
You just need some here and there that
if you have 300 teachers in the school district, I'd say maybe 20 of them.
Well, I'll go by class, by room, by schools. If you got a school of and I don't know, 40 or 50 classrooms, it'd be nice to have
10%.
If even that much. I'd say 2 or 3 per floor, or 2 or 3 per every dozen classrooms or something like that. I don't mean arm every single teacher, make it a requirement. That's not what I'm talking about. Please volunteer to spend time in a classroom. You can't teach like you think when constant issues, fights, interruptions, parents angry at you over nothing. Try an urban area. I bet you're right, Kelly. My sister was a teacher. And come on. I went to school, right? All my years in school. And I know how kids are a pain in the ass. And parents are a pain in the ass. And the gang fights, I remember, were always a problem where I was at. I get it. Numbers should be public so that we can see the realities that the training is not good. Yeah. No training is going to protect. Hiding under a desk isn't going to save you from a bullet. Yeah, just like hiding under a desk is not going to save you from a nuclear attack. Remember that? Remember that old film of telling the kids, oh, get under your desk. Yeah. That's going to protect you from a freaking nuclear attack.
Yeah.
It's not young people. It's your generation that's just giving you the participation trophy. That's what I'm saying. It's not the kids themselves. Not their fault. But this was put upon them. And now look what was created. I was never a fan of that trophy.
We created a monster, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah, those people did. Those parents.
And then these woke people came along and fucked everything up 10 times as much. 10 times worse.
No offense, but the parents who coddle their kids so much, you want to wrap them in a...
You did more harm than you did good.
You want to wrap them in a bubble before you send them outside. I never went outside. I never rode a bike with a helmet or knee pads. I drank water from the garden hose.
Well, and we didn't wear seatbelts. We rode in the backs of
belts.
Trucks.
We played with the fire hydrant in the summertime outside, barefoot.
Oh yeah, that was a blast.
And we survived. You see those memes, I survived. I drank from the water hose. I played in the fire hydrant outside in the street with bare feet, and we survived. And I fell or whatever, and everybody survives. And that's just a part of growing up. And I think when you try to protect, you try to overprotect, that could be a problem too. I'm not claiming to be the best parent on the planet, but I don't think I'm very far off. There has to be some degree of failure, and you can't coddle.
Oh yeah, nobody's perfect
in a perfect world, because they're going to expect that. And if some little bit of pain or some little bit of resistance comes their way, they're not going to know what to friggin' do. Just saying. Just saying. You gotta do what you want. They're spoiled these days. Not even a word for it. I agree. Root cause is no direction, no hope, no future. I like that. People should tell their stories about when they were made fun of and how people making fun of them grew up and ended up not so good. I go back to movies on TV. Blazing Saddles. Eddie Murphy's Delirious concert. The Airplane movie. Airplane the movie. I mean, how many other
movie.
How many other movies? The TV shows. Archie Bunker, right? All in the Family. The Jeffersons. Racism everywhere. But was there race riots because of a TV show? No, everybody laughed, and then next week, I hope it's good next week. And then you got the whites and the blacks and the Spanish and the Chinese and everybody talking about what happened on TV, he called me this or that or Chinese or Mexican. But that was it. And then it was over. And then you just went out, you got on with your life. And now you say something like that, it's a federal case. And now it's like,
I blame the news media for that. I think the news media has gone and separated the country and made us more racist than we have ever been in our whole entire history, with the exception of the whole black people aren't allowed to eat at the counter. You got to ride in the back of the bus era. What was that? The 50s and 60s.
Mm-hmm.
I think now we are more racist than we were in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and early 2000s.
See, and I don't think we are. I think there are people that they call themselves activists that say that there's racism everywhere when there really isn't. That's what I think.
Well, and I mean, you know me. I am the least racist motherfucker you've ever met in your life. And I've always been that way. Growing up in the 70s and late 60s. That was a different story, but oh my God. I think now that, and I think it was 3 years ago during this last election, is when all of a sudden race became such a huge issue. And it really wasn't. But the media made it an issue.
And then Mr. Obama came into office.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
And everybody wants to say, oh, he brought the country together. It's like, no, he didn't. He caused the biggest freaking divide you can imagine. Think what you want about that. Think about it good. And I'll tell you one thing. The other day when the Uvalde school shooting happened, he made his statement and he said, this is 2-year anniversary of when George Floyd died. Just so you know. Right when all these little kids got killed. It's like, you know what? Go away, man. Yeah, I'm talking about Chuck, when somebody breaks into your house and you want to save your wife and your daughter and your kids, you are going to want to do the same thing with your handgun. And they're guns. They're just guns. If you want to call them a human killing gun, okay. But they're also a hunting gun. They're also a target practice gun. And for some people, they just like to have them on their walls and display them nicely as a nice thing, collectible.
I just have to say this again. Guns don't kill people. People kill people. The gun did not grow legs, walk up into the school and start shooting people. It's impossible for an inanimate object to go and move by itself and shoot people by itself, unless it's remote controlled somehow. And this particular gun was not.
Most, if not all, don't have fathers in the home. Okay, I talked about this yesterday. Single family, single parent homes is a problem. I know some parents do it, single family, single parent,
And they do extremely well,
And they
raising
do
a
great.
family and working 2 jobs,
And it's a pain in the ass, but they do it. They're committed.
and they make it work.
Freaking care. They really do care. Many are on psychotropics that affects them mentally, and many have mental health issues. They're undiagnosed and untreated. Many are affected by ideas, breakdown of morals within society. Yes. Many are affected by childhood trauma, like beatings, molestation, etc. Yes. Unfortunately, teen shooters are dealing with many of these variables at once. Yeah, which is why at some stage, someone in their life has to go, he should get counseling. He should talk to somebody all the time. We know this happened. We know that happened. You can't just let it go like, oh, he's going to be okay. He'll be fine. You got to get him help. Or her help.
Yeah, I agree. And Julie, sort of yes. But, there's a point to where you got to learn to, okay, the kid had 5, 6, 8 swats, whatever. Done. Let's move on. I mean, it's not criminal unless if you're leaving marks on the child's body.
Or if it becomes like chronic.
Yeah.
Like where you're
If
beating
you come
the kid.
home and kick the dog and start beating the kids every day.
Yeah. And yeah, at some point that needs to be found out. But you
But
should,
just for punishing your child and spanking them when they do something wrong is not criminal. Is a corporal punishment like some people think it is? There's still countries that that have public floggings. What's that country with dude in it that got 3 swats on the ass, caned? What country is that? Singapore?
Singapore, Thailand, something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember the kid, Michael something, that got caned.
Oh, was that for chewing gum or something, or spitting?
He vandalized cars while he was over there on vacation.
Yeah.
I think Clinton was president at the time.
They whipped him with a bamboo cane.
Sugar cane, yeah.
Sugar
cane, whatever. He was supposed to get like 5, but the government talked him down to 3, and it left permanent welts on his ass.
Good. That'll teach him, right? He's not going to do that again.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's their punishment. They bring him out to public. They strap this leather thing to him, and just his ass cheeks are exposed. He's bent over, and this guy, long ass cane, and 3 of them right there on the bare ass. And the leather was to protect his thighs and his back in case if the dude missed. And well, obviously he's been doing it for so long, he didn't miss.
Yeah. So guess what? Dude is not going to do that crime again. And he wasn't from that country. So dude is probably not going to go back to visit that country either.
Probably not. But he learned his lesson. And I guarantee you he'll never vandalize anything anywhere ever again.
Yeah, I'm not saying I would allow. I'm not saying arm every single teacher in the school. I'm just saying, just like airlines have a federal flight deck, a federal air marshal random on every airplane. You don't know who he is. There's one person in there who's armed, and I'm not. And that's got to be one of those things that's anonymous. You don't publicize it, but you try to find out who would be willing to do something like this. 2 or 3 hands to go up in the whole school. Okay, fine.
Yep, biometric safe in the desk of the drawer. Just need a thumbprint or a fingerprint. Pops open. There's the firearm. Done deal.
We used to get paddled in school with a big wooden paddle, even in elementary school.
Yep, me too. I got that paddle once.
And that was a good lesson, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, it was.
Toxic. There are lots of inappropriate relationships with teachers and students. Imagine arming a teacher. Now, like I said, with the right teacher who's not going to do that stupid crap. Yeah. But I know it's not an easy solution. It's not a perfect solution. It's supposed to be the first to volunteer, right? Yeah, exactly. I didn't wear a seatbelt as a kid because there wasn't one in the back window.
Well, they were options back then.
That was the best.
Were options.
I love that deck back there. It was so cool. I'll never forget that deck. The same reason why adult children are living with their parents. Yeah, this is true. Participation trophies are because winning also means showing up. Winning doesn't just mean whoever has the highest score. Even when you're down, you should be there for your team, not to quit. That's right, 100%.
Okay,
You try.
Okay, so you have Bob and you have Mary. They both started at the company at the same time. And Mary works her ass off. And she just does everything. And she goes in for a review and she gets a $25,000 raise. And you have Bob, he goes in for his review, doesn't do anything, just there collecting a paycheck. He gets a $25,000 raise. So where do merits come in? Where's the merit raises now? Because the participation trophy generation gets a trophy for showing up and just whatever, so they expect it in their careers as well.
Yep.
That's what we taught them growing up. You're going to
problem.
win, you're going to get a trophy, you're going to get this, you're going to get that. And you don't have to do a fucking thing, just show up.
And if you don't get that job, they should give you another job just like it. They should. Which is not true. It's competitive.
We are setting these kids up for failure. That's the way I see it.
No, yeah, that stuff does happen. Toxic, I know. Remember Johnny Depp, Once Upon a Time in Mexico? Are you a Mexican or Mexican? Yeah, I do remember that. Damn, it's been a while since I've seen it. I know media is protected, but they should be penalized for non-factual info. I know there's some nonsense going around in the U.S. There have been over 200 school shootings. And, you know, it's wrong how they call these things school shootings. What happened in Uvalde the other day, that was a school shooting. Have we had 200 of those this year here in the United States? No. So, yeah, you know, a lot. Again, anything to glorify the freaking news and expand the headlines and make us look bad to all the other countries out there. It's ridiculous. Let's see. Julie said coworker. Semi-automatic. Okay, if semi-automatic firearm were banned, what would happen? It wouldn't happen.
Well, then I guess we'd have nothing but revolvers.
Yeah, it'd be all revolvers, and they would come up with all kind of new styles of revolvers, but that wouldn't happen. That wouldn't happen anyway. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Getting close to wrapping it up here for the day, guys. Make healthcare more affordable and provide parents with resources. Yeah, something like that. I'm okay with that. Leading cause of death among children in the USA: 1, abortion. 2, auto accidents. 3, firearms. Leading cause of death among children in Africa: communicable disease, non-communicable disease, anemia. Abortion, the leading cause of death. Ain't that fucking sad? Just for the record,
with that, but
I don't know if you got to disagree with it, but if she's getting that data from a legit source.
Okay, well, it's not a child. It's not born yet. It's not a child.
Leading cause of death. Well, I can't look it up on this. I'm gonna look that up. I'm curious to see where'd you get that data from, Lydia. Do tell. Sorry, cooks, cleans, buys his vehicle. Okay. Violence only teaches violence. It's all about positive and negative reinforcements. Yeah, I can dig that. Adrian Peterson did that and he got hell from our country. Let's see, skipping some of these. You guys are having a conversation here. That's fine. Just creating more government involvement and oversight. Too much government. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yes, we do have too much government.
And I'm not a fan of too much government. But for firearms, I think something's got to be done. At some point, somehow, something's got to be done. You know, I don't know what that answer is. My daughter used to be paranoid about spanking my grandchildren and leaving a mark. That's why you smack them on their bun, because nobody typically looks at that part.
Well, the secret is you keep clothing on them, and you don't use anything worse than a little wooden spoon.
Yeah, and you try not to kill them. You're just
Yeah.
trying to make a point.
And once they've done something wrong that really pissed you off, you need to cool down, get your wits about yourself, and then go deal with the punishment. Don't punish that child while you're hot and heavy and pissed off.
Winners can get bigger trophies, but if you only want to win, then no one would play and learn lessons of sportsmanship. You got to teach them to compete. Competing is good. Bring back institutionalization.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah. Let's see. At some point, it's a child. Let's see. That's what she does. Let's see. Great. Okay. Leading cause of death for people under 19 is firearms.
Well, I guess depending on where you live. Chicago, chances are. Urban area, chances are. Detroit, chances are. New York, absolutely. I guess it all depends on where you live.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in what those numbers are, and I'm gonna look for that this weekend. She done another. Okay, you guys are having a cool conversation there. All right, gonna wrap it up. It's been 2 hours already. Thank you all for hanging in. Sorry about the music issue earlier. Won't happen again. It did get annoying. I was having some microphone and headphone issues, and then the music just messed it all up. So I apologize for that. Bam, thanks for hanging out, bud.
Yes.
It's very good conversation. And one that's going to continue for days and days. And the more info we get on this school shooting, I will bring that. I will post that and bring it forward. We can keep discussing it. I'm going to look into getting some experts in certain fields we can ask. Maybe in firearm safety or firearm laws or that kind of thing. Interested how some things work, in learning how things work, and also would other things work, or how would that go over in the
don't we have a portion of the government, I'm sure we do, because our government is just vast. We have too much government. Isn't there a government that deals with just firearms?
The ATF.
Okay, so you have the ATF. Why not let them create the rules for federal? Like earlier, you have the states decide the firearm policies for their rules for their states. Why not let the ATF deal with it and have a standard policy straight out for all 50 fucking states going, this is the policy, this is the guideline, this is what you have to do. Anything above and beyond that is fine and dandy, but these are the bare minimums you have to do. 25 years old. Background check, minimum 15 years of addresses, where you've lived, where you've worked, everything. I mean, pretty much like the airline background checks. Ours are 10 years. Why not go 15 for a firearm?
These are all very good questions. And so when I meant ATF, I know nationally it's the ATF. Texas has the Texas Alcohol something. What is that TABC? Isabel. Anyway, we're not done with this discussion. This will continue on another day. I'm definitely going to get some people to come in and talk to us about this, because this is a never-ending topic. I don't think it's anything that's going to get solved in the next 20 years even.
Well, I mean, Christ, this has been a hot topic for many, many, many decades.
Yeah, and every time we have a shooting like this, it's like a rash that comes up and starts to get hot again.
It's like a bad case of ED.
I wouldn't know what that is, but I'll take your word for it. I'll take your word for it on that one.
Well, I mean, the topic. It's a bad case of VD. Every time there's a shooting or whatever, it pops up. It just comes back like VD.
No, Chuck, haven't made it to 1848 yet. I have not. I sent you a message on your messenger, Chuck. Did you get that? Check that out. Everyone, yes, thank you for stopping by. It's been a delight. Great Saturday night conversation. Good night, Eunice and everyone else. Isabel, thank you for showing up. Toxic Terminator, thank you so very much. Bam, Texas is a firearms safety sanctuary state. We don't have to follow the national laws. That's why I told you should move to Texas, buddy.
Like I said, Illinois is like right there with New York. I mean, we have the hardest laws on gun control here in Illinois, just like New York.
That's what it is. Thank you, Jessica. No, it's
yeah,
cool.
I knew it was alcohol and something.
Those aren't leg firearms. Alrighty. Everyone have a great night. Thank you for hanging out with us. I apologize for the early music issues. It won't happen again. And I'll let you know when we're back on in the next couple days. Usually don't do Sundays. Spend time with your families. And in particular this weekend, spend time with your kids. I think it's time to get that feeling of closeness back with everyone, because life could be taken in a snap. And when's the last time you hugged your kid or your family member, your wife, anybody in your family? Have a great night. Bam, we'll talk to you later.
Hasta luego.
Thanks for a great show, everyone. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good